Hello, and welcome to this week's lecture, which focuses on job loss and transitions. Um, Job loss is one of the primary problems that um, clients present with when they come for counseling, when it comes to career-related services. Um, Job loss creates significant distress and other um, mental health concerns for most clients. This is because job loss uh, creates many personal issues because job loss is related to the loss of income. It could be related to the loss of social relationships and and several other factors that could impact a person's overall well-being. And so there is a relationship between personal and career uh, problems that result from job loss. Um, Job loss is a form of adult career transition. When a person loses a job, uh, they would have to find a way to get another job uh, so that they could address their personal needs. Sometimes this may not be easy for the individual depending on um, their level of education or whether they have a disability or not, or that they have the necessary support system that would help them to um, get retrained and to access the needed services. And so there is a growing need for program and strategies that can assist adults in career transitions. Sometimes a job loss can force an individual to make a career change, and so understanding the impact of job loss is very important, and finding ways to address it is one of the primary concerns that counselors will be faced with when they work with adults in transition. Clients that have lost their jobs as a result of recession are likely to remain unemployed, and they are also likely to experience some psychological effects of the job loss and the stresses associated with the job search. If it's a time of full employment, a job loss may not create significant distress depending on the environment. If job opportunities are very few within that environment, that will still create some problems, but not necessarily as much if that was a time of recession. And so it is important to understand the challenges that clients face when they experience a job loss during a recession. And during a job loss, one of the things that you and the clients may have to consider is to reevaluate the skills and the knowledge and the competence of the client, and to think about what goals they would have when it comes to getting another job in terms of making changes to what they want to do in the future. The psychological effects that are associated with job loss can be very pervasive, and so it is important for the client to gain an in-depth understanding of the needs of that client and how that person is processing that job loss. The significant distresses that a person experiences due to job loss is also related to some immediate responsibilities that they may have when it comes to providing for, when it comes to their family members. For instance, if a person has children that are still in school, they have house payments, car payments, or other responsibilities that could create distress for them. If they don't have enough savings prior to the job loss, that can also be problematic for them. And there is a difference in the impact of job loss based on the age and the gender. An individual that is much younger or that are in the middle phase of their careers may experience job loss more significantly than a person that is close to retirement. Also, women tend to experience a job loss more deeply compared to men. And so, what are some things that counselor needs to do when it comes to adults in transition? One of the things is to help the client to maintain a healthy sense of urgency. When a person loses their job, there is that possibility that they could go in a panic mode and a frenzy and try to find ways to address the job loss. But there is a need for the counselor to work with the client in a realistic way and sometimes to inform them that based on the context in which they live, that they have to maintain a certain level of urgency in terms of getting another job. The second thing is to carefully review the career options. For some people, switching careers may not be an easy option. If they were working a managerial job and now they have to work using their hands, that could create some problems for some people in terms of how it impacts their psyche and their sense of self. Others may not necessarily feel as much, but we need to put all of those into consideration. Another thing is to recognize that is to help the clients to recognize that they must accept the necessity of change as soon as possible. Job loss is similar to the adjustment to job loss is similar to the grief process in which a person that loses a loved one could experience shock, denial, anger, and all of that. And some people come to an acceptance and find some ways to adapt. Others may take a much longer time to actually adapt to a job loss, especially if that job loss is related to maybe a firing from your jobs that's not connected to what they did. Also, another thing to consider would be stopgap employments. If a client is interested in getting a temporary job, then they have to do that with caution. And you as a counselor also need to make such recommendations with some bit of caution. The last thing is to help the clients to focus on realistic goals and make plans that would help them to achieve such goals. Some interventions for adults in career transition is to help. The first intervention would be to help the client to identify their skills, their interests, the work experiences they have, and to reformulate some goals that would help them in their transition. You as a counselor must focus on the individual needs. It's not a one size fits all. Each client is unique and their personal circumstances must be taken into consideration. Sometimes you may have to impress upon that client to be more flexible and to accept opportunities and new environments that they are not familiar with or they may not be comfortable accepting. And so, but that also should be done with caution in such a way that the client is not coerced, but enough information is provided for the client to willingly make that decision. One of the things about job loss is that it requires a person to subsequently engage in job searches, and this can be psychologically stressful. And so it is important for you as a counselor to discuss that with the client and to do so at the onset of counseling relationship, and to find some ways that they could gradually work towards accepting the challenges of applying for jobs and maybe not hearing back from such some places, or maybe not getting interviewed or even accepted when they do interviews. Just like I had previously mentioned, it's important for the client to come to a point in which they have to reevaluate their skills and their goals when it comes to jobs. And based on the age that the individual is, it is more likely that people that are middle age would react more negatively to the unemployment than people that are older, much younger, because a younger person may be more optimistic and may think that they would have both the mobility, the skills, and the self-efficacy to go out and get a job. But people in their middle ages tend to feel like they're more established in their ways, are comfortable, and so the job loss could be a disruption to that. Studies have shown that women tend to experience a decline in general health as a result of job loss, and that's also because of how women perceive job losses and some of the ways that they perceive such losses. And so when working with a client, we have to have certain questions, help them to come to an understanding of certain facts, which is that, why do they need a job? For some people, working helps them to have some type of daily time structure. For others, it provides experiences, shared experiences and interactions with their colleagues and others outside of their immediate family. Others see working as an opportunity to express their purpose and life goals, and to reinforce their status and identity. And so participation in work is viewed as a necessity in the give and take of daily life. And so in working with these clients, again, we have to look at their interests and use that to primarily predict what kind of jobs would provide satisfaction for them. But we must also be concerned with how those interests are related to the potential occupation choices. Identifying skills based on previous experiences in work, hobbies, social activities, and other leisure experiences is very important. Based on a person's work experience, and the kind of jobs that they've done, we could use